Hair and skin. Everyone wants to make sure that it looks the best it can. However, what about all those chemicals that are going into making these things look the best they can? If you've ever looked into trying to get things done naturally, well, you've come to the right place. You need to look no further. I'm Dr. Jason Alviene, and this is Structurally Sound. I'd like to welcome Stephanie Bevilacqua to the show. She works with Harmony Holistic Beauty. It is her own place here in Delray Beach, Florida, and it's just a little gem that people can go to make sure that they're getting themselves looking well, at the same time they're making sure they're staying well. How are you, Stephanie?
Hi, Dr. Alviene. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Well, no, thank you for being on here. I mean, with what you do, this is wonderful for the community and just making sure that people are staying healthy and they're not dousing themselves in chemicals is wonderful. So tell us a little bit about how you got to opening up this place called Harmony Holistic Beauty.
Well, it turned out to be such a blessing because I was able to turn a long-time personal passion of mine into a business, and that is clean beauty. That's always been on my mind, to avoid toxic chemicals in every way, shape, and form. In this country, unfortunately, we don't have as good of regulation of bad chemicals and personal care products as they do in some other places like the European Union. So unfortunately, I say it quite often, is that to be really healthy in this country in particular, you need to be half a chemist and half a nutritionist at the same time. So I've done a lot of research into, all of those chemicals that have like 10 syllable names and figuring out which ones are bad. And, because not all chemicals are bad. I mean, there is a thing called organic chemicals. And so I just really try and stay away from the ones that will really do you harm. But also, we have to get the job done at the same time. So for instance, covering gray hair requires a certain amount of here I'm screwing up, so I guess we have to take a pause. For George said that we could do that. Just take a pause. So a good example is, like, I just introduced an organic henna line, which is completely certified organic henna dye, but it actually gets the job done and covers the gray, which
Wow,
is,
wait, henna, isn't that like the tattoo ink? The temporary tattoos?
yeah. Well, yes, that is one use of henna, but it also, there's a plant-based henna and an animal-based henna. And the kind that I used is organic certified hair, henna hair color dye is exactly what it's called.
Oh,
And it
that's
doesn't
cool.
have the versatility of regular hair color because it only comes in like 5 shades, and I guess you can mix and match a little bit. But everything that I do, I always experiment and really make sure that works well and is completely natural and healthy before I would ever roll it out to my clients.
So getting into this, like you just said there, you have to learn a lot about chemicals. How did you go about doing this? I mean, where do you start from? And I mean, just getting yourself to learn this type of stuff and research it. I mean, if it's not out there already, you must have had a lot of work to do on your own.
I did, but like I said, it's like a personal passion, like a personal hobby for me. So I am blessed with the ability to retain information that is important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just take like a very, very, let's just say, expensive eye cream, let's just say, and go through every single ingredient on the label, researching it. There's resources like EWG.org. Have you ever heard of that one?
No,
It's
no.
called it's the Environmental Working Group.org, and it's a completely unbiased platform that is funded by just regular people and people that are interested in healthy options. And it's basically anything that you could come up with, whether it's a product or an ingredient, you can type it in there and it will give you the entire lowdown on it. And everything, they're scored from 1 to 10 in terms of 1 being the best and 10 being the worst. And then they also have things that are EWG certified. So you can actually take a product and submit it to them, and they will just, if they give it their certification, that's about as good as it gets. And they do not only personal care products, but also food, everything to do with food, but they have um, a specific application that is just for personal care products. And I think there's like 90,000 products
Oh my
in that
gosh.
application, and anybody can get it, anybody. And so you can go in there, like I said, to type in individual ingredients, and there's a lot of other resources out there, but that one is so complete. And as you do this over and over and over again, you just get to know the real bad actors in the situation. And some of the scary sounding words sometimes aren't even toxic. They're just, like I said earlier, an organic chemical. So I just try and keep it as healthy and non-toxic as possible, but also getting the results that people are seeking. And secondly, I also a big priority for me is to use vegan, gluten-free, cruelty-free, eco-friendly, paraben-free, which is number 1 on the hit list because that's carcinogenic.
Hmm.
And a lot of people have heard like, oh, parabens, nowadays you hear things like paraben free, but many people really don't even know what a paraben is. And it's a preservative, but it's a particularly nasty preservative because it's what you find when you biopsy breast cancer tumors. That's exactly what is a paraben and why you need to avoid it, most especially women.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, yeah, if you're seeing any links to cancer, that's definitely something you want to stay away from.
Yeah, with the epidemic of breast cancer that's out there, so paraben free, sulfate free. I try and do all the frees that you possibly can, and just embrace all the really, really good products.
Now, before you, this, like you said, this is a passion for you, and but before you got into this, you did a whole nother career that actually helped you with what you do today, as far as having a background. What did you do before?
I know that some people find that really amusing, I guess is a good word, but I was in publishing and I was in business publishing, like legal, finance, real estate, that kind of a thing. And I really enjoyed that for a very long time. But then when the recession hit and print publishing started going the way of dinosaurs, it became a whole nother ball game. And it was just the future was obviously not there. It was all going digital. So when I decided that I just didn't want to do it anymore, when I thought about what do I want to take my skill set and what do I want to do for the rest of my life or the rest of my working life, one of the number 1 priorities was something that is not going to be lost to the internet. So, and as long as people are growing hair, you can watch all the YouTube videos you want, but it's
It
pretty
keeps
hard to cut
growing.
your own hair.
It just
Exactly.
keeps growing.
So that was a big priority for me, but also I've always been passionate about skin. My own family used to make fun of me when I was like a teenager, a very long time ago, about why are you so obsessed with your skin and you're this and you're that, and I don't know. It's just I was born that way.
It seems like you should have been doing this from the beginning.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yes, that's true.
But here you are now, and you've probably, with having that background that you did and getting into it a little bit later, it seems that you've gone down more of that, like you said, the natural route, which most salons probably don't follow those protocols.
No, I don't think so. Even though it's getting to me more and more popular, more and more mainstream now than it has been, because especially with COVID, I've noticed a lot of new clients coming in, and that's exactly how they found me, by Googling the words like natural, holistic, organic, on, Google or whatever. And then of course, regular clients talking to their friends about how they're making better choices with their,
Mm.
whether it's facials or hair. And there's a lot, people are becoming much more cognizant about their health and trying to make cleaner, better choices. So it's perfect timing to be, embracing holistic methods.
Well, I was on your website and reading some of the different things that you do there, and I have to admit, from maybe because my hair just gets cut short, some of the things that are on there, I don't even know what they are. Now, I'm sure that a lot of ladies that have gone and done these will know what they are, but some of the different color processes and services that you use. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the ones that you do, especially if they have a name that doesn't sound very easy to understand, and so that people can understand that has not done any research on this, what they can come and get from you?
Well, I have a feeling you might be thinking of like words like balayage, which
Uh-huh.
is probably not a word that
Exactly.
most men
There's
are
one of them.
familiar with.
I see what I don't know if I'm even pronouncing this correctly, but I saw one, Ombre, Ombre. Did I
Yeah,
say
that
that
was my
right?
next one. Exactly. That was my next one that I was going to say. And a lot of people get those two confused, and they sort of have kind of merged in a way. But balayage is, everything starts in France. And Ombre did also. And balayage, I don't even know what it means in French, but what it really is that you're free painting on the hair. So instead of, you probably are familiar with the process of highlighting with foils. You've
Yeah,
seen that probably on
I've seen
television.
those done. Oh yeah.
So, I do plenty of those, believe me, but the balayage is more of a taking a special sort of lightener mixture with a special developer. So it allows you to use a method where you're actually free painting, placing the lightener on the hair exactly where you want it. And my preference is to do that like more of like a blonde on blonde type situation. That it works really, really well with that, because you get a really natural, really sun-kissed type of look with that. And an ombre is really to go from dark to light. So you've seen women, with long, usually with a little bit longish hair past the shoulders, where it can be start out very, very dark on the top by your roots, but then it's I think ombre means to fade, so it blends out to where the ends are light, and it should be seamless, just like a seamless fluid from dark to light. And that's the trick of getting it done, where there's no, like lines in it.
Uh-huh.
So, and it's fun. I love doing those types of jobs. And when you really nail it, it's a fantastic feeling. It's very, very, rewarding.
And I'm sure your clients are just ecstatic with the way they look too. It's probably, most of them are probably, this is better than I expected.
Yeah, that's what you hope for. That's what, yeah. And I get it. When I get that good feedback with the text or whatever, that's, really makes it all the more worthwhile for me to do what I do. And I just love what I do. Every day I meet new people. Most of my clients turn into my good friends.
Hmm.
Um, I just absolutely love what I do. And since I added skincare into what I do about 4 years ago, it really added some versatility into my everyday life. So that way, I could be spending the morning in the facial room doing all types of organic skin treatments, spend the afternoon doing hair, and it just breaks it up. So that way I get bored easily, I will admit. So I'm always challenging myself to learn new things. And I like, changing gears in the middle of the day is kind of, I'll never be bored in this business.
Now, the skincare that you just brought up, I mean, you're talking about facials. Is it just skincare for the face, or do you work anywhere else on the body?
Oh, that's a good question. No one's really even asked me that. Mostly what I do is the face, but I incorporate everything I do to the face, I do also to the neck and the chest.
Okay.
Because I just have never understood why you would want to have like a perfect looking face and then everything from your chin down is completely ignored, you know? And as we get older, those areas really need to be included, and they deserve even more attention probably than the face, because most people, women, are have not, you know, paid special attention to those areas, and you end up seeing, especially here in Florida, a lot of sun damage. So that's number one, is including the neck and throat and chest. But also I do salt scrubs. So I make organic sea salt or Himalayan sea salt scrubs. And myself, I actually am rolling out a line to sell them because people really like them a lot. But I do all body scrubs, mostly on the back and the arms. And I do a lot of, I incorporate a lot of massage of the arms and the legs and whatnot into all the treatments that I do. And most of the treatments that I do are based on anti-aging.
All right, anti-aging. Yeah, that's a big thing for anybody, is they want to make sure that they keep themselves looking as good as they can and as healthy as they can. Now, as somebody that does any of these skin type of treatments, what's the what would you say is one of the bigger type of skin treatment people come to you for? Obviously, the anti-aging, but what type of package are they typically getting in a skincare?
Well, I've recently, the number one thing that I'm doing is microneedling, and that is a holistic skin resurfacing. So once again, where you can get a really good result without using chemicals. And everything that I do in the facial room, everything is organic. So I have handcrafted, like I get raw organic materials and I put them together, custom make different things right there in the room based on and the individual's needs. But the microneedling is a way that you're basically, it's like a collagen induction treatment, because
Hmm.
you're forcing your body to create more collagen, which we every year, I think past the age of like 30, so you lose the ability to produce collagen by 2% a year. So, and collagen is everything, especially for the face. It's everything. So with the microneedling, we're forcing the body to produce collagen, but there's no downtime, there's no pain. I use a strong numbing cream on the skin. So it's one of the only things that's out there that you can get a significant result from without downtime and pain. And most women, you know, they don't want to look all beat up for, you know, a week or 10 days. So I've devised this whole package that includes a bunch of other things that go with the microneedling in order to get the like I do things from the outside and the inside. So the microneedling goes down deep into the epidermis, but I also incorporate other things like peels that work from the outside. So it's a synergistic
Hmm.
approach, and it's it really works. I started using it on myself, you know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and I saw the improvement in my own skin, and I decided this was a thing that I really want to get into, and it's been working out great.
So some of these skin improvement things, let's say somebody has a wedding to attend to on a Saturday, whether they're the bride or there's somebody that's going to be a part of the wedding. How many days in advance should they do this just to make sure that their skin is looking the best when they get to that event?
I would say a week to 10 days. Once I get to know someone's skin and we understand how, because everybody reacts differently. And
Hmm.
so I always take a conservative approach, and then I'll get to understand how well their skin is able to accept different things. But if it's something that you're doing for the first time, obviously with weddings and things like that, you don't want to do anything too close. So I would say a week to 10 days is a good rule of thumb. And that's a good question, because
Yeah,
that's something that, yeah, I always ask people, like, do you have anything coming up this weekend or whatever? Because that definitely affects how aggressive I want to be in any given situation when it comes to the face.
yeah, just that reminds me of a story of somebody that I saw get eyelash extensions, and
Oh
then their
boy.
eyes completely blew up the next day. They couldn't open them. They had such an allergic reaction to the adhesive. So yeah, so
Yes.
some of these things, if they don't know how it's going to react, you need to, like you said, try it out first, but well in advance.
Yeah, I happen to be one of those people that is very, very sensitive to that adhesive as well. And yeah, unfortunately, I have to stay far away from lash extensions.
Oh, for that. And thank you for telling me that I don't need any type of anti-aging stuff right now. It's pretty funny that you bring that up. Just last week, I ended up having a zit that popped up on my nose that I haven't had one there in years. And I felt like a teenager again for a moment.
Well, next time, let me know, and I'll bring you something to help with that,
Oh,
because I can
great.
I can help zap them out pretty quickly. Yeah, we
Oh,
all get that.
uh,
That's one of the things too, is mentioning like how things have evolved in terms of, especially with skincare, is that I myself am aging, and I'll be 55 next month. And when I started menopause at 50, was I started shedding hair. Had a lot of different menopausal symptoms that are very common, and most women in that age group can relate to. And I have a lot of clients that are in that age group, and it really helped me to understand their perspective about all of this much more. And so one of the things that I had to do was like, okay, you know, how do I endure this? How do I come out of this? Okay, how do I, not only survive it but try and thrive through it? And I learned a lot about hair shedding and how to deal with it, how to help it, so many different things. And that is another one that is a synergistic approach. It works from the inside and also works from the outside. So I do quite a bit of counseling and helping women to restore their hair as much as possible to a pre-menopause state. Let's put it that way.
that sounds really good for anybody that needs or really wants to work on that, especially when you start having any type of hair loss. Now, you get clients that come to your place. Now, a first-time client, give us an overview of what it's like for a first-time client to come walking through your front door. What can they experience?
Well, that's a good question. Excuse me. When a new client walks in, they're usually, well, first of all, I greet them personally, everyone that comes through, everyone that walks in the door for me, because there are other people there, but I'm always make sure that I am right there in the front when I have a new client coming in. And they're usually pleasantly surprised about how serene the atmosphere is, because my salon spa is very, very soothing. I do not have loud music and like high energy type of an atmosphere. I just never wanted to work in a place like that, and I never wanted to receive treatments or services in a place like that. So I always try and create an experience that I myself want. And that's one of the reasons why I opened my own a business and felt confident that I could be successful at it, because I felt that there was a niche to be filled, and that is with true one-on-one service, which I kind of feel is lacking in a lot of different ways. So when someone comes in, they have my full undivided attention, and there's just I don't work on anybody else when I'm with someone, whether it's in the hair part of the business or the skin part of the business. I'm just always, always one-on-one. And I go through a, a pretty complete Q&A type thing about everything. I always say there's just not enough information. You can never tell me too much information. I want to know everything because a lot of things can be lost in translation, a lot. And you can sometimes think that you have a meeting of the minds and find out that that's not true at all. And like in terms of color or different things like that, you just want to make sure that there's a true meeting of the minds before going forward, whether it's just a haircut or a complete hair makeover. And so we'll go through all of that and until and make sure that that we're both comfortable with moving ahead and taking the next steps and what needs to be done. And then I have all types of refreshments and different things to make someone's visit more enjoyable. And I always tell everyone, you do what you want to do, and I will work around that. I am, so you make yourself happy. You want to read a magazine, you want to use, play games on your phone. Nowadays, so many people are remote working, so they'll bring their laptop and they want to, pretend like they're, not at a salon kind of thing. And that's fine by me. The only thing that I draw the line at is like really loud speakerphone conversations, because obviously that would ruin the whole Zen experience for everybody around.
Exactly.
And usually, by the time they leave, they feel refreshed. Not just having more beautiful hair than what they walked in with, but just, having their whole spirit sort of refreshed and uplifted a little bit, because that's my goal in every way. In every way, everything that I do there, from for instance, the shampoo sink, I had that shipped to me from California because it's super, super comfortable. So I want everyone, when they're in the shampoo sink, to just have the best possible, not having their neck hurt, which, with you're treating my neck right now. And so that I have a very sensitive neck, and I don't want it like bent back into the shampoo sink and there's no way that I'm going to enjoy, a nice, beautiful scalp massage that I do if my neck is so bent back that it's in a terrible position.
Mm-hmm.
So I try and take, things that, like, really little things that a lot of people might not even pay attention to, but all those little things add up to a lot. And it makes the difference between you're just, oh, I'm just getting my roots done, to the difference of having like a true spa experience. Even though it's in the salon part, I still want them to feel like they had a spa experience.
That is so cool. And I know the ladies listening to this, you don't have to talk them into coming in and experiencing this. But men, I'd like to point out that this can be for you too. Just one of the things on the menu, you can go in and get a men's precision cut shampoo, scalp massage, and style. I mean, that sounds great to get all that done in a nice Zen environment.
Well, the scalp massage in particular, excuse me, just yesterday I did a scalp massage on my massage therapist that works there. And he, he might be a little biased, but he just said, "Oh my God, that was the best shampoo I've ever had." Because, really, really working the scalp and giving that nice scalp massage. I mean, that is a fantastic. If you haven't had one, I fully encourage you to do that. And I always do it for longer than you would expect, because just when you're getting into it, most times it's over. And I always want to extend that another, few minutes, because it's just such a nice experience and so relaxing.
Oh, that's great. I just want to thank you again for joining us today. If you could give us a few ways people could get a hold of you or make an appointment, that would be great. And this way they can you can start seeing your schedule fill up a little bit more for all these Zen type of hair and skin done.
Yes, well, I am available to be booked online, and you can go right to my website, which is harmonyholisticbeauty.com. And that's probably the simplest, easiest way. I get a lot of really positive feedback from people that they love it. It's so simple, and you can, do it after hours, whenever it's convenient for you versus just business hours and playing phone tag, because that so often happens. Or you can text me directly or call me directly on my one and only phone number, which is 561-270-3803. And if you are unable to get the time or the day that you want online booking, I usually can switch things around and make it work. So that's when I really encourage people to actually call me directly. But most of the time, it's workable just by booking online. Or you can stop by, as I'm right on Lake Ida, which is also Northeast 4th Street and Federal.
Okay.
4 blocks north of Atlantic, and you can stop by and say hello, and I would love to see you there.
That's great. So again, this is Stephanie Bevilacqua with Harmony Holistic Beauty. That's harmonyholisticbeauty.com. Her phone number, should you not want to book online and you just want to have a conversation, is 561-270-3803. And again, Stephanie, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alviene, and I will be seeing you tomorrow.
All right. You have a wonderful day. Again, my name is Dr. Jason Alviene, and you've listened to Structurally Sound.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of webmasterradio.fm's management or sponsors. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without authorized consent of webmasterradio.fm is prohibited.